We all get into voice acting, right? Because we want to express ourselves. We love using our voice. We want to share messages. We want to communicate. And yes, we all should do that. We all deserve that. However, if you get into it just wanting to do that without understanding the marketplace and understanding how to grow, you're only going to go a little itty bit of using your voice. You're not going to be able to put yourself out there in the way that you really dream of doing.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. It's fact.
So I want to officially welcome all of you here to today's webinar. Thanks so much for being here. Today is Staying Relevant in a Changing Voiceover World with, of course, Rachel Alena. Great to have you with us today. And Rachel Alena has voiced thousands of projects, worked as a talent agent, and helped hundreds of people land voiceover jobs by growing their skills. Rachel grew up in a musical family in Los Angeles, and her childhood dream was to sing for Disney. I love that. Rachel, you initially worked as a session singer for songwriters, pitching their material to artists. And during one of those sessions, someone asked her to voice an on-hold message. And everything started at that point. Apparently, your love for voiceover work grew from there. And since then, you've heard Rachel's voice on thousands of projects for companies such as Disney, Microsoft, Delta Dental, the Rockefeller Foundation, Goldman Sachs, Old Navy, Procter & Gamble, Harvard University, and many more. Rachel firmly believes that the world is a better place when people feel confident in expressing what matters to them. Rachel coaches voice actors, business speakers, podcasters, audiobook narrators, and anyone else who wants to grow their confidence and communication skills. So let's give a warm virtual welcome to Rachel Alena. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Evan. I'm thrilled to be here. And thank you guys for showing up today. For me and for yourselves, I'm super excited. And what I'm really excited about today is helping you guys understand what's happening in the marketplace so that you can really leave this talk feeling confident with where you're going and what's happening. This talk is for you if you're wondering what is selling in today's market, who's buying, how things are going in the marketplace, and what the future might look like. I'm going to teach you as much as I can. We have a very, very short period of time here. So when I conclude, I promise I'll show you how to get more if that's something that you're interested in. As I mentioned, today we're going to cover who is selling and who's buying, the current marketplace and what the future might look like, how to grow and where to grow, and where you can take things further if you want to grow your skills so you can handle whatever the future holds. You guys ready? I know you are because you're here. Oh, yeah. Yep, let's dive in. Okay, everybody knows this. The marketplace is changing rapidly. Styles, who's buying, rates, where jobs are found, and so much more. Okay, you guys, this matters. Why does it matter? The marketplace determines the types of jobs you'll be able to get, where you'll land your work, and what your future as a voice actor looks like. Okay, we all get into voice acting, right? Because we want to express ourselves. We love using our voice. We want to share messages. We want to communicate. And yes, we all should do that. We all deserve that. However, if you get into it just wanting to do that without understanding the marketplace and understanding how to grow and where your voice fits in, you're only going to go a little itty bit of using your voice. You're not going to be able to put yourself out there in the way that you really dream of doing. What sounds are selling today? Well, of course, we want to look at today versus the past. Back in the 80s, before ISDN, which is the phone lines where you could record into, mostly male, mostly authoritative, mostly radio promo. We all know that. Let's look at today, 2024. Now, this is really interesting. You can see there on this chart, I have part male, part female, and it's about equal. I gave a webinar or a much longer speech to the Women in Film and Media in Colorado about 4 months ago. At that time, I had the female about 15% higher than the male because in castings, I noticed that there was a lot of female voice acting coming through. And just in the last, I would even say month and a half, the males are kind of ticking up. And what's interesting is what's ticking up is a little bit more of an authoritative male, which is not something that has been very castable lately. Yeah, and what I think it comes down to is politics. I think it comes down to economics. It comes down to social structure. It comes down to whether it's summer, whether it's winter, whether people are sick, whether we're at war. All of that stuff really changes what goes on in marketing, which changes what happens for us as voice actors. So I'm going to give you some homework items, but one of them is pay attention. Pay attention to what the other commercials are doing. That'll give you an indication of what's selling. Casual, authoritative, and other. You notice, I know casual's king. We all know that right now. You notice I kept authoritative in there. That is because you will need to be able to have many, many skill sets in order to grow in the future as a voice actor. I promise you this. I know it for a fact. So you want to just not be a one-trick pony. We'll talk about that. Commercial versus industrial. Industrial is more corporate. Commercial, I put commercial way, way, way up there. Here's the deal, you guys. Everything is commercial. If you're selling, it is commercial. I see you, Evan's nodding his head. Yep, it's true, yeah. Right? Because even if you're doing an internal training for a company, you're still selling the company to the employees. You're always selling something most of the time, unless you're doing a documentary or an animation or an audiobook. For the most part, you're in the commercial realm. So you want to have a firm understanding of commercial voice acting. Documentaries, a lot of people come to me and say, I really, really, really just, my heart is in documentaries. And I love that. That is awesome. Keep in mind, documentaries generally are produced in bigger markets, like the things you see on TV, film festivals, those kinds of things. Film festivals, you can get independent filmmakers to do that. But for the most part, you need to go to big talent agencies for a lot of the documentaries. There are some documentary things that happen on voices.com, but they're few and far between. There's a lot more commercial work and corporate work. Audiobooks, listen, people say audiobooks, I don't know if I want to do audiobooks. You work harder, you get paid less. I totally get that. Here's the thing. It's a great place to cut your teeth and grow your chops. Audiobooks are a place where you can rack up a number, a collection of audiobooks that you have done, and then launch yourself into film, launch yourself into commercial because you've built a brand. And that's what this talk is about, is really helping you guys understand that this is a career. So you're building a brand. And finally, animation and videos. Everybody wants to do this. Totally get it. It is the most fun. I've done a lot of it. It's super fun. The thing is that, the market there has changed just a little bit. First of all, AI has come in and taken some of the low-level marketing opportunities from voice actors. A lot of the studios, in Austin that are doing like the lower level kind of animations, it has been plugged in by AI. Doesn't mean there's not opportunities, because we're going to talk about AI. But what that means is if you want to make it in voice acting and really do a lot of cool, like Cartoon Network and that kind of thing, you need to understand commercial work and how to voice anything, documentaries, animations. I had a student of mine, I don't need to get into the whole story, but he is with a huge agency in Los Angeles, and he's an animator. He wanted to do animation. He had to do the other stuff in order to be well balanced enough to get picked up by them. And we will talk about that again later too. Okay, what traits? You guys know this already. Positive vibes, conversational, sell without the ick. But I want to prove something to you. 2024 most valuable brands. Okay, I just Googled this and put this in this little webinar slide here. This is homework for you guys from now on. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead, go to YouTube, look at the top brands, and you'll get a lot of stuff that just has music, but sometimes you'll also get a lot of stuff that has different voice actors. And listen, and you know what you guys can do? And I know people have different feelings on this. I think mimicry is a great thing for you to do. It doesn't mean that you should replace your voice with somebody else. No, not at all. Because each individual person and each of us sells ourselves. Who we are comes through in our ability as a voice actor. But mimicry really helps you understand what's going on in the market and develops that relationship between your ears, your voice box, and your facial structure. So go to these places and check it out. That's my expertise is in the art of voice acting in the business. And a lot of times we spend a lot of time listening to others and mimicking and really getting this relationship going so that your ear is strong so you can understand when a director asks you for something, what they're looking for. So what are the traits? Positive, conversational, selling without the ick. Even if you are doing something authoritative, nobody wants to be told what to do in a really strong authoritative way in this market. Now, promo is a little different. And I will tell you, this morning, I did some edits for a job that I did yesterday. They had me do it in two styles, which we will talk about. One was a very lifty, super casual kind of a style, and another was a strong authoritative. But in both of those, I'm still positive, still friendly. And that's something we're going to talk about, being able to be versatile. Okay, who's buying? Great news. Even though voice acting is really competitive, we all know that. Look at who's buying. Large corporations, small businesses, educational institutions, advertising agencies, production companies, hobbyists, religious organizations, nonprofits, animators, authors, talent agencies, translation companies, global organizations, and your neighbors and more. Good news for us. And this is not going away, even though AI is there, I believe, and we'll talk about why. Where to find work? Well, right now, a lot of you guys are on voices.com. That is an excellent place to find work. It's an excellent place to grow your skills, grow your brand, grow the amount of jobs that you've done, because ultimately you will likely, if you really want to scale, get with some talent agencies. And in order to do that, you have to have a brand. You have to have the experience. Most talent agencies are not going to pick you up if you don't have some kind of a good brand beneath you and experience. So small pay-to-plays, translation companies. But I want to talk to you about who you know. Everybody discounts this when you're first starting out. And I'm going to share a quick story with you. A student of mine worked at Harvard. She did private coaching with me. So we get to know each other. We develop a relationship, we chat. Well, when we were having a chat about business and her next steps, I said, "Do you know anybody?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Oh, well, don't you work at Harvard?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, I personally have done voiceovers for Harvard. I know they have an internal department that creates their media. Find them on your campus, bring them donuts every month, and develop a relationship." And she did exactly that to work for them. Think of who you know and how you can develop those relationships as a place to start. Because even on Voices, if you have some experience and people go off the site and Google you and look you up, that helps them to feel like you're legit and they want to hire you. How to grow and where to grow. Okay. Understanding how to grow and where to grow matters, because knowing where and how to grow is what keeps you relevant in a changing voiceover world. And here's what might be happening to you, or what I can almost promise you will happen if you don't ebb and flow. You will be stuck in a style. You won't land things. You will not be positioned properly for growth. And you will wonder, what skills do I need? Why am I landing all these jobs on only this type? What am I not landing? How do I specifically fit in? And how do I sell myself and grow my skills? And I'm going to show you an example of a girl that I worked with. Her name is Morgan Taylor. Morgan is a top performer at voices.com. She's been with them for quite some time. I don't know if you know Morgan Taylor, but she's incredible. She came to me about maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, understanding that she was landing some stuff, but not that much. And she was landing some, but she was like, it's all the same. And I don't know why they're hiring me. I don't know how to grow. Don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm just getting lucky. Long story short, we really looked at what she was good at. We looked at where she needed to grow. Could she grow animation skills? Could she grow her ability to speak in different styles so that she could really voice more than just a one-trick pony? We looked at the marketplace. Well, I just got this message, I think it was Wednesday of last week. She signed with DPN in Los Angeles. And so we will be hearing Morgan so we'll be hearing her all over the place. And I'm super proud of her. This girl worked her butt off, and she really worked with coaching. She worked with growing relationships and all that, and it's paying off for her. So that's an example of really understanding the market and going beyond what you're used to doing. Here is how you can get a hold of me if you're interested. info@rachelalena.com is my email, and my website's rachelalena.com. If you have trouble with that email, feel free to go to my website, my contact page, because I've been having some issues with it, but I think it should be okay. So how to grow. Produce a demo. I'm guessing most people here have a demo. Cool beans. Make sure that that demo is high quality. This is your calling card. So it's got to be industry standard, high quality. And industry standard tends to be, for commercial anyway, 60 seconds, showcases your voice, and has really great quality in a specific genre. Okay, put together a home studio. I'm guessing all of you have a home studio. If you have a junky home studio where you're putting a blanket over your head, or you don't have the proper soundproofing, or you've got a USB mic that's just going into your computer, you're not going to land as much. It's just the simple facts of the way that it is. I know things are expensive, but you want to have something halfway decent. That's really important. Make more samples. When clients are looking to hire you, they need samples of you doing that specific job. So like if they are selling purple pens, or it's a thing about purple pens, they want to look at you selling a product that's kind of similar, and that's what they want to hear. So make more samples. It's really important for you to do that. And grow your skills. Of course, as we said before, share with everyone, online platforms. Eventually, talent agents, I'm telling you, don't go after a talent agent tomorrow unless you are positioned and ready. I've worked as a talent agent, and they're not just there to grow your careers. Talent agents are there to help you, and good talent agents, the ones in the A markets, expect you to be perfect. The ones in the B markets, they expect you to be close to perfect because you're getting paid a lot more and they're negotiating for you and putting themselves on the line. So really make sure that you understand the market and how you grow before you get there. And little companies and all that. We talked about some of that. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. What I do have is, like Evan mentioned, I've been doing this since I was a freshman in high school. I've been working in the field of being in the studio. So I have a pretty good idea of my guesses of what the future is going to look like. Let me kind of explain to you the tiers of talent so I can explain to you what I think it's going to look like. First of all, bottom tier talent. And this is nothing against those of you who have done this. This is great, but just know this is the lowest tier, using your voice for AI. Fine, you can choose to do that, but just know that that is not really high level when it comes to where things go. Next tier up would be you get a script, you read it, and you send back your recording. They might send you some changes or whatever, and you send that back. That's the next tier up. And that is awesome. That's a great place to be. Great to be on voices.com doing that, growing your skills. It's a great starting point. The next tier is directed sessions. That is where you're being directed via Zoom or over the phone and taking direct feedback. Here is where you need some skill, people, because they're going to expect you to execute things quickly and efficiently. And finally, remote connections. Remote connections, something like a Source Connect, is when you are talking into your microphone, it goes directly to the clients, and they're directing you via Zoom or on the phone at the same time. Don't freak out about that. Remote connections they're way up here as far as being in the right place at the right time to really grow. Don't worry about that. That is just something that will be here in the future and is here now, will be here to stay. AI is here to stay on the lower level jobs. Remote connections are here to stay, and directed sessions via Zoom or however that happens are here to stay as well. People are not going into the client studios as often, therefore we need that remote connection. And I want to talk to you for just a minute about AI because I know that's the burning question for everybody. I look at it like stock photos. You know how when stock photos first came out, everybody's freaking out. Oh my gosh, there's not going to be photographers anymore. No more videographers. Actually, that didn't happen. What happened is the stock photos took over a lot of the low-level stuff. Okay, now when you have commercials, they are still produced by production companies. There are still agents out there and advertising agencies that are producing these things. When you sit down and watch TV, or you see a lot of commercials that are more high level on the web, you're not seeing stock photos. You are seeing things produced in the marketplace. AI is going to be the same thing, I believe. It's never going to replace truly good voice actors who have acting skill, who can take direction. It's just not going to happen. I just have worked on that side of things long enough to know that the clients really expect good quality, directable voice actors. So that's where I think it's going to go. I do think there's going to be a continued entry-level talent and high-level talent, and there's all that room in between. The divide might get a little bit bigger because we might have more AI, but the future of voice acting is not over. There's plenty of space. You just need to ebb and flow, ski down the mountain in the marketplace and understand your skills. So you might be asking yourself, where does my voice fit in? What types of voice work am I the best fit for in the future, now and today? What can I do to grow and be prepared for the future? So if any of you want and you love what we've worked on, you can always reach out to me to work with me. I'll give you my contact information again. And I want to say thank you. This is really the crux of it. Your voice matters. You're doing this for a reason. If you're called to do it, share your voice. I know it can get frustrating when you go after things and you don't land things, but look at why you're not landing them and what's going on in your skill set and all that. Get the support you need to grow regardless of what's happening in the marketplace.
This session has been absolutely jam-packed with all of your experience and then the practical coaching. So thank you so much, Rachel. That was very, very we're all gonna have to watch the recording, but so much value there.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. What a pleasure. What an absolute pleasure. And thanks you guys for being willing to put yourself out there.